Well, here we are, disruption in the mining sector, and I just want to give you a commercial for mining. I've served on mining boards. I've covered them for 1 million years in Canada. Mining built Canada, and mining is probably the most important sector in the country right now, because probably 3/4 of the oil we export to the United States comes from the tar sands, and it's actually de facto mining. Like it or not, that's how we make a living. So let's hope that they're keeping up with the times, and I assure you they are. Toronto's also the mining financial capital of the world. We also have the best technological, scientific, and engineering expertise and infrastructure for mining around the world. So we have hundreds of companies listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. We raise about 60% of the money raised for mining globally, and we provide a lot of the supplies, suppliers, and services and goods and expertise that feeds the world's global mining industry. So it's very important, it's very critical, but politically incorrect, but I don't think it should be. The highest wages of any sector in the country are mining, not finance. It is highly scientific and highly technological. It is the #1 employer of Aboriginal people in the country because the mines are very often located in remote areas and provide a wonderful means of making a living to supplement their traditional ways of making a living. So for many, many reasons, it's very important to us. And we have 4 speakers who are going to talk about various aspects of mining. And the first speaker is George Salamis, who is with Integra Gold, which just got taken over. So he's got a nice paycheck, I'm sure, coming up soon. We're going to start off with a video for him, and then he's going to walk on at the end of the video, and he's going to talk to you about tech, Integra, and the mining industry. Roll it.
I'm standing up here tonight to call on governments, on mining companies, and particularly mining financiers to get off the sidelines and get in the game. It's time for us to Uberize the mining industry, and I promise you it can be done.
In the year 2000, Goldcorp brought the earliest concept of crowdsourcing and big data analysis to the mining industry. In a contest that became known as the Goldcorp Challenge, one of the richest gold mining districts in the world was unearthed. 15 years later, Integra Gold would challenge the masses to hone in on Val-d'Or's next big discovery. Using today's social networks to put the word out, 1,400 people from 90 countries answered the call of Integra's Gold Rush Challenge. Last year, 5 finalists competed to win $1 million in front of a live audience of 500 people during PDAC. Innovation drove both challenges. Now, these 2 industry innovators and leaders of modern change have joined forces to disrupt mining once again. It's time to raise the bar even higher. It's time for the entire industry to step up. Join the movement to disrupt mining, push boundaries, and do something never done before.
Act now. Innovation is what endows our natural resources and offers us a new capacity to create wealth.
5 pitches, 5 groundbreaking new technologies and ideas, 5 opportunities to completely rethink mining, and at the same time, give back to the communities we operate in. This event will uncover the next generation of industry leaders and innovators. March 5th, 2017. Disrupt mining.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So when I say the words drones, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, biointelligent organisms, what are you thinking? Are you thinking about Apple, about Uber, the X Prize, SpaceX, Amazon? I'm thinking about mining. I'm here today to challenge you perhaps about some preconceived notions about what you might think mining is. I'm here to show you some examples of the bold things that we're doing in the mining space today. How, in fact, we're moving resources to resourcefulness in the mining industry. So 2016 happened. Davos, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau gave a speech that many of us in the mining industry were waiting for a very, very long period of time. Finally, we got the recognition that we deserved, that Canada is a resource-based economy, that everything we do relates to mining, that this country was founded on the resources in Canada. And he also said one other important thing. It was a wish, it was a desire that he expressed. He expressed a desire to take resources and transfer them to resourcefulness. Now, many in the mining industry didn't get that sentence, but if you were a Gen X or if you were a millennial, you got it right away. Finally, we have that moment we're waiting for. Somebody's recognizing the importance and our leadership role in the mining industry, and somebody's saying, take this and propel it to new heights with technology. And that's happening now. So I want to challenge you again. Think about everything that you use in your everyday lives, from that smartphone in your pocket to the computer that you log into at work, to the electric car and the lithium battery that powers that electric car that brought you here, perhaps, or the aircraft that flew you to this great conference, or this room, this building, this structure, this beautiful structure that we're sitting in today. All of it relates back to mining. So that's why it's important to you as a citizen of the planet. If it's not grown, it must be mined. And I know that's a harsh statement to swallow, but it's a simple fact. And Canada, what is Canada's position on the world mining scene? We are leaders, as Diane mentioned earlier. Not only do we export a tremendous amount of abundance worldwide that comes from our Earth's crust here in Canada, but we export knowledge and expertise. Virtually every mine that I've ever visited or worked at around the world has had some Canadians there leading the charge. And it's not only in the hinterlands of Canada where this takes place. It's on Bay Street. Just down the street from us, the world's largest resource-focused stock exchange, the Toronto Stock Exchange, home to 60% of the world's mining companies. $300 billion of value in mining companies headquartered here in this city. So it's important, and it's important to us. Every year, between $6 and $10 billion is raised on that exchange. Tremendous. $50 billion worth of our GDP comes from the resource sector. 20% of our trade exports come from the resource sector. In this province, in this great province of Ontario, $11 billion worth of natural resources is mined from the Earth's crust responsibly every year. And as Diane mentioned, about 400,000 jobs have been created by the resource industry. And not only normal, average-paying jobs, the highest-paid jobs, the most skilled jobs in Canada come out of our industry. And last but not least, we are the largest employer of our Aboriginal communities in Canada. So it's important to us as Canadians. So you might be saying to yourself, so why is all this disruption needed? We're great, obviously great at what we do. No further work to do here. Well, the simple fact is the mining industry has been a backward industry for such a long period of time. Yes, we've done so much in the field of environmental remediation, social responsibility. Yeah, we've made great strides in that field. But in terms of how we find our resources and how we develop our resources, we've been doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And that, to the Gen Xers and the millennials in the business, was just insane. There's got to be something more that we can do here. We haven't seen the technological revolution in our business. There's such a gap to fill. Which leads me to this slide, where the mining industry ranks with respect to digitization. Almost dead last. Second to last after agriculture. Embarrassing. So you might look at this slide and say, wow, that's a really depressing slide, George. Why even put that up there? I look at that slide and I see tremendous abundance. I see tremendous opportunity. I see social responsibility filling that gap. I see new ways of treating mine residues, filling that gap. I see phenomenal abundance filling that gap. It's from the lower left-hand corner of this graph to the upper right-hand corner of the graph that there's a tremendous gap that's just waiting for us to fill with technology. And that day is coming. Because if we're not innovating, we're dying, really. And I'm here to say that not on my watch and not on their watch. We're constantly pushing the envelope. So what we did at Integra a couple of years ago was something pretty phenomenal. We decided that we had a bit of a role to play in pushing this technology angle. And the very first thing that we used was a technique that was used by so many other industries to such great success. Crowdsourcing, an exponential technology of its own right. The X Prize did it. NASA did it. They solved problems using crowdsourcing, casting a solution out to the masses and getting tremendous feedback and great ideas. Why can't we? So how did we do it? So I roll the clock back to 2013, and 2013 was a great year for Integra. We had made a very high-grade, very rich gold discovery in northern Quebec, and we were looking for a place to responsibly process these ores. And right across the street from us was the Sigma-Lamaque mining complex. And that mine was shut down, but it also had something that was unique, a 75-year-long glorious mining history. It employed fathers, sons, grandfathers, generations, created a tremendous amount of wealth for the community and prosperity for thousands of families. And it was sitting there dormant. So we bought it out of bankruptcy, and as what happens when somebody buys something out of bankruptcy, you do a bit of a list, a roll call of what you've just bought. So our list looked like this. Day one, 1 mill, 1 water tower, 1 crane, 1 forklift, a couple of coffee cups. There's a lot of junk in there, trust me, that we bought. That was day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Day 5 hit, and this was a day that we'll never forget. Day 5, we meandered into the back warehouse of that mining operation there. And we went through a door, we opened this door to this room, and on this table were 6 green metal boxes covered in dust. So we dusted them off, quickly concluded that these were 6 1-terabyte hard drives. And we started to plug them in. And for that was Integra's Indiana Jones Treasury discovery moment. It was nirvana for us. We started plugging in the hard drive, started to check out what was on it, and we quickly concluded that the previous owners did one phenomenal thing for us and the mining industry. They digitized 75 years of mining data, put into digital format. Drill holes, assays, mine layout plans, how much gold was mined and where, who was employed, and the costs of it. 75 years worth of history. So this was a tremendous find, as you can understand, for us. And so we were thinking, what do we do with this? What a great bit of treasure. Where do we go next? And so we thought to ourselves we could do one of two things. We could do what the old world of mining would have done, taken this data, held it close to our chests. Don't show anybody. Don't tell anybody about it. Don't share it with anybody. Give it to some consultants, send them away for 3 or 4 years, pay them a lot of money. Maybe they come back with a conclusion, maybe not. Or maybe we could do something else. Maybe we could use this data to revolutionize the mining business. to introduce technology through big data, to give it the kick in the ass that it really needed. And that's what we did. 6 terabytes of data, open sourced for the masses to download and use and process to their advantage. And that's what happened. And that's how the Gold Rush Challenge was born. And one other important thing that we noticed in doing so, in the $1 Million Challenge that we launched for the world to find the needle in the haystack that we were looking for, we found one thing. 1,000 people downloading the data started to talk to each other through the power of social media. So the old world of geology and mining engineering started to talk to the world of technology. Artificial intelligence specialists, machine learning coders, virtual reality specialists, mathematicians, video game programmers. This was the first example of cross-pollination that anybody had ever seen in the mining industry. And it worked. And the epiphany, the grand prize winners, a made-in-Canada solution straight out of Blainville, Quebec. Hooray, Canada. The $1 Million prize went to these guys. Brilliant. They wrote a bit of code that basically went through that database using machine learning algorithms that they wrote that are akin to facial recognition software to take a deep dive into the 6 terabytes to find the needle in the haystack. And I can say today that as a result of what's going on there, there are hundreds of machine learning programmers out there who have taken that code and running with it and perfecting it and casting it out and bringing it back in, tweaking it, sending it back out again. Phenomenal. And does it work? Does it find gold? Sure. We've drilled some targets and we found gold with it, so it works. And there's more refining and testing to do. But hooray for the first introduction of machine learning and artificial intelligence into our business. So we say to ourselves, why stop there? Disrupt mining? Phenomenal idea. Why not team up with Goldcorp, one of the world's largest gold producers and a very, very forward-looking company? We had such tremendous buy-in from the rest of the mining industry. Why not? Let's push the envelope on this. And what we noticed was the tech sector started to buy in. IBM, Accenture, Microsoft, Cisco Systems, all joining the movement. They wanted their way in, this was it. So we launched Disrupt Mining, and this time it was not just about finding that needle in the haystack. We were opening the entire mining industry up to new ideas. And the world answered the call. 150 submissions came in from around the world, and there were some phenomenal ones. Absolutely phenomenal ones. One of my favorites, drones to drills. Long story short, we used to send prospectors out into the wilderness to find the shiny rocks, come back after a field season, 4 or 5 months, tell us where they are. Maybe we send a big drill rig out there, maybe not. That's being replaced by drones. Drones that look for the same characteristics in the Earth's crust as the prospectors, and sending that data back to us in real time. And then we, instead of sending the big footprint drill rigs out, we send robotic, remotely controlled, small footprint drill rigs to do the same. Tremendous advancement. And this is technology that exists today. Cementation, another great idea, straight out of Sudbury this time, made in Ontario. We dig big holes in the Earth's crust to go find metals, and then we use fuel-burning trucks to move the ores to surface. What these guys suggested is, why don't we use water, air, and compressors to drive those same ores to surface, and recycle it and do it over and over again. Zero carbon emission, great idea. Biomine, biointelligent organisms, I love this one. Biointelligent organisms that work in the remediation of mine waste. So simply put, what this is bacteria that attack mine residues, and those things that are harmful to the environment are rendered inert by bacteria. Phenomenal idea. So we are stepping up to the plate. We are using an extra resource, that resource between our ears, that's moving the mining industry to great heights. So if I have your buy-in, if I've challenged you enough today, I ask you to go home and think about those ideas that you think can revolutionize the mining industry, your mining industry in Canada, because it's important to you. We have yet to have our Uberizing moment in Canada, in the mining industry, but it's coming. Watch this space. Thank you.